Good evening, everyone. I am Sandylu Guerrero of Life's Trace Coaching, your transformational business and life coach. Welcome to Transform Your Life with Sandylu and friends. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to log in, but tonight I have a wonderful, wonderful show. It's part two because our original, our singles and relationship challenge, dating and relationship challenges was 2 weeks show 2 weeks ago was filled with so much fun, so much insight, so much information, so many questions and comments and requests for more. We decided to do a part two. So today is a continuation of the conversation, although we could probably speak about this topic for days, weeks, months, years, etc. We are going to do a part two, and then we see where we go from there. Maybe we never know. We could do this again later. But anyway, if you just logged on, please make sure that you share and also send us your comments, your questions, and send us some love, some hearts, some likes. We don't mind. We could take all the love and all the likes that you give us. Anyway. So remember to share again. I'm Sandylu Guerrero, Life's Trace Coaching, your transformational business and life coach. And you are watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and friends with my singles ready to mingle, talking about dating and relationship challenges. If you just joined us, make sure that you log in. Give me a second. I'm going to log in my tablet here because I want to make sure that I take the time to acknowledge you guys as you're logging in and saying hi and your comments. And let's see, my tablet's not updating. And so please make sure that you send us your questions. I have questions. I have questions that were sent to me, direct message to me, and that were comments from the last show that were addressed to me directly, feedback, things about everybody on the show that they noticed, that they heard, etc. So I want to thank our guest. All right, so give me a second here. You can hear me here. All right. So we already have some comments, and one of them is Audrey. Audrey says, "Stay single, please. Sorry, not funny."
Thank you, Audrey.
Well, we could enjoy being single. This is, that's not what we want, but we could enjoy it. So hi, Lourdes, Carmen Torres again, Bruno Nunez. Hello, everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and start the show because we have a lot of questions. We have an interesting panel, and we have 3 Georges here. George to the third power. We have George Vasquez, we have George Magdaleno, and we have Jorge Vargas. And then we have Patricia Almaraz, and we have Berlin Rodriguez. And I'm going to share a little bit about them, but we're going to go right into it. We have questions, we have comments, so make sure that if you just joined us, remember to share, remember to like, and send us your comments and questions. Okay, so hello, Maria Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. All right, so my guests are let's start with Patty. Patty is a special ed teacher, age 47, divorced, has 2 adult children, challenges in dating, where men not being clear about what they want and they don't want to wait to have sex. And if you didn't watch part 1, we discussed that. We discussed that quite a bit. So if you didn't watch part 1, make sure you watch part 1. And then say hi. You want to say hi, Greg? All right. And then we have Berlin. Hi, Berlin. The lady in red. The lady in red, which is wearing a gorgeous red dress from Jade's Fashion, which is our sponsor for today's show. So thank you, Jade's Fashion, for your sponsorship. And let's see. And also, if you didn't see my necklace, I love this necklace, by the way. It's from Jade's Fashion as well. But anyway, Berlin is a stylist and an image consultant, age 51, divorced, and she also has adult children. She's an empty nester, 5 grandchildren, which is unbelievable. Challenges in dating, practices abstinence, a belief in no sex until marriage. And that was definitely an interesting topic, which I'm sure that's going to come up more tonight. Let's see. Then we have, you want to say hi? You said hi already, right? Oh, hi. And then we have George Vasquez. George Vasquez, he's a leadership coach, age 39, never been married, has a adult daughter to age 20. Challenges in dating is because women have had bad experiences, they tend to be jaded and they don't believe that he is a real deal. I think that's some of the challenges that a lot of men have. So we'll talk more about that. And then we have George Magdaleno, which is here for the first time, and he saw the show 2 weeks ago and said, I want to be the third George in the show because it would just be hilarious.
More George.
So more Georges in the show because 2 is not enough. You cannot have enough Georges in our life. I guess now I have these gentlemen in my life. Awesome. I do attract awesome people in my life. So look at these gentlemen, handsome, very cool. So George Magdaleno is currently works as a director of sales to an artificial intelligence technology company. You got it?
Yes.
And he's divorced and has one son of age 4. And his challenges in dating is he shows up with consistency and a plan, but it's not being reciprocated. So, that's a great, I'm glad that you shared that with us because that's a whole other perspective that most of us women are not aware of. Okay, so I really appreciate that. And
thank you.
And thank you for joining us and deciding to be part of our craziness.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, before we go into Jorge Vargas, I'm going to get all mixed up with all these Georges. You want to share a little bit about you?
One of the reasons I wanted to be on the show is something Patty said about, men don't wait, they want to rush right into it. And something that George said is that, women have their past experiences cloud, the new opportunity. And I've had experience in both sense because I think we're versed in 2 languages, not Spanish and English, but, what's our intent and what do we want the outcome to be? And you have to be very clear when you're dating someone, you like to see him, you like to see him again, or, if there could be something beyond a 3rd date. And unless you're willing to actually tell that and communicate that to a person, you're just flapping in the wind and waiting for things to happen. So that's why I wanted to be on the show.
Great. So you'll be able to answer one of the questions that we have. And
Absolutely.
We'll talk more about that definitely. So thank you for joining us again.
And
it's a pleasure to meet you. Today was the first day we actually met in person, but I appreciate you and what you do also. You also have your own podcast as well. So
yeah, we'll get into that later.
We'll get into that a little later, but I know you do speak with women and you do a lot of topics regarding women issues and stuff. So, okay. So now we also have my guest over here, Jorge Vargas Jr., and he is, he is a photographer, age 46, recently divorced but separated for a while, has two kids, age 20 and 16, and challenges in dating is because women have had challenges in dating, women assume that he picks up on the woman from the photo shoots he does, feels that it's because of his weight. Women don't give him a chance. So they're 2 different things that he has, and I think those are awesome topics to speak about too. And I think it's a male and female issue both, and it just all depends on entrepreneur women, business women, women that are powerful, sometimes are busy, etc. Sometimes people think, oh, you're out there all the time, blah blah blah, So anyway, we'll definitely talk about insecure people and jealousy, right? Okay, so that was a little bit about our guest. You want to say hi really quick before I move on? I'm so excited to move on. and cheers. Okay, so cheers everybody for today's show. So if you didn't grab your drink, make sure that you grab your drink and you join us today because it's definitely a night to remember. So once again, I want to thank our sponsor, Jade's Fashion, in the Alhambra, Pasadena area. I will give you some more information about them, but they have beautiful fashion, beautiful clothing. Ladies, you definitely want to get your outfit for Valentine's here. You definitely want to do that. And men, if you want to get your women something that's unique, different, and sexy and classy, this is definitely the place you want to come. So anyways, just want to make sure I share that with you. But thank you all for joining us again. You're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, and I'm here with my single and ready to mingle friends, and we're going to talk about dating and relationship challenges. And hi everybody that joined us. I'm going to say hi really quick, and then we're going to start going with the questions, because I have questions that people sent me, and I want to make sure that we do our best to cover them, and if we don't, we'll do it after on our comments or whatever, etc. So hello, Marina Elizabeth, Angela, Greg, Jaime Segura, Mimi Gigi, oh hey, it's George Vasquez, aka Professional Hugger Extraordinaire.
Who's that? I like them.
Gigi, Mimi Gigi, I believe it's Gigi Grant. Maria Hernandez, que chula, mi prima, y con tacón. Maria Hernandez, saludos, prima Patty desde Ocala, Florida, from Florida. Te quiero mucho. Muchos besos. Greg says, hi, wifey. Greg Podrigaldi, is that? He says, hey, wifey. Hey, she's single.
Comment down.
She has no ring on it, no ring on it. Salvador, hello, Salvador in Visalia. Angelica La Torre, hello. Angie, happy early birthday. We're going to celebrate Saturday. Happy early birthday. I love you. She's like my sister from another mister. Mimi Gigi says, Sandylu, addressing taboos. You go, girl. Yes, and she was my coach. She was my small group leader when I did my first transformational training. Let's see. Salvador says, regards from Visalia. Hello. Michael Meyer. Rudy Barrera says, Patty made say hi. Hola, Patricia. Denise Hernandez. Mimi, 39. What? Yeah, George Vasquez is 39. I know he's not a kid anymore. Let's see. Greg says, where's the glass of wine with a toast? We did our toast. We all had some a combination of drinks. Make sure you join us. Benjamin Galvan, Mark Martinez, Maricela, Alma Valenzuela Chavez. Maria says, women don't like crybabies. Okay, that's a great comment.
Oh my goodness.
But we'll talk more about that because that is a really good.
It's so true.
Yes and no. There's a middle part. You know, like you want men to be vulnerable, but then you don't. You got to give them a break. So we'll talk more about that as well. That's a really great. Thank you for bringing that up because I think we should talk about
Good
that.
point.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Lori Navarez, Nali Rios Para. Hello, Nali. Say hi to Alvin as well. Marta Cervantes, Veronica Maria Fuentes, Jose. Mimi says, Mimi Gigi says, cheers, cheers. Rudy Barrera, hi, Patty. Maria. Okay, so everybody's like, I'm going to check in with you all. I'm going to check if there's any questions. All right, so we had so many questions last week, and we tried to cover as much as we could, and some of the answers were, some of my guests posted on the comments, etc. So one of the things I want to do is do like a quick review in the perspective of my guests, because I had them, I encouraged them to watch a video again and see what is it that they learned themselves from watching the video, and what is it that opened up for them. And I know George Magdaleno wasn't here, but I know he watched it, and he brought up a few things, so I want to know what opened up for them as well, and because it's really important. One thing is to watch the show and to see it as a show, or you could look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow from it, and that's the goal, right? To make our life better. Transform Your Life is all about giving you content that's going to make your life better in one way or another, or your loved one's life. So if you just joined us, please make sure to share, because that's what it's all about. Yes, we're having fun, and I'm not saying we're dating pros or anything like that, but we all have experiences that we could all learn from, good and bad, if you want to call them that. But anyway, so guys, who wants to start first? And we want to keep it brief, but what opened up for you after watching the show from 2 weeks ago? What is it that opened up for you? What is it that did you learn something about yourself, or did you realize that maybe something you're doing is not working, or what opened up for you? Who wants to go first? Don't all jump in.
I'll go first. I think what opened up for me is that there's really a lot more single people out there than people seem to think that there is. And everybody's going through a little hardship here and there, and everybody is here to support each other. So I guess that's kind of why we're doing all this here together too, is just so we can learn from each other, figure out what works and what doesn't work. So I think this is a good start for me, since I was married for a long time and I really haven't been in the dating scene for that long. So this helps.
Great, and I acknowledge you for having the courage to put yourself out there, because one thing is to put yourself out there, but here it's out there in a whole other level.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't watch, we've had like over 1,000 views, etc. So I acknowledge you for being here, because it's definitely being comfortable, being uncomfortable, and that's where we learn and grow.
Right, that's for sure.
Thank you. All right. Who wants to go?
All
right.
I'll go ahead.
George Vasquez.
So for me, it's like I do really well one-on-one, having
intimate, deep conversations, but in a group setting, even though this is a small group and it's not also that intimidating, knowing that there's a live camera right in front of me with God knows how many other viewers and a lot of my peers, because me and Sandylu share a lot of peers, and just getting really raw and honest. So I tend to be the coach, the one guiding, versus being more the student. And so being in the student role, being in the hot seat, if you will, it's interesting. I advocate for it, but I don't often put myself in that position. So it was a change of pace.
Yeah, which is great. And you know, you and I go back, I don't know what, 7 years, 8 years, maybe longer. I don't know. We've been friends for a very long time, and you know, and we share our dating experiences. So, you know, I don't want to put some stuff out there, but you know, one thing, I think we're coaches, right? And we've done a lot of self-development. But when we're in it, just like everyone else, we get clouded as well. Maybe we don't get stuck and caught up in the drama of things for long periods of time like other people might do. But at the same time, we'll find ourselves there and we'll do the things and we'll make mistakes, etc. But obviously, because of the level of work we've done, we have another level of awareness where we flip the switch and say, oh no, not happening, or take responsibility if it's not working, type of thing. But I'm glad that you chose to join me on the show. I know that last time it was a last minute thing for you, but you know, it's great to put yourself out there. You never know who's watching. Maybe the future missus is watching you right now. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so thank you. All right, who's next? Who wants to talk next? Come on, ladies.
I'll go next. I guess what opened up for me last time was just being open to being more vulnerable. More vulnerable, just being.
They're not going to be here.
I can't talk louder, my voice.
Okay, do your best. I know, we apologize. Patty has a sore throat, so we're going to do our best to hear. Make sure you're paying attention because the microphone is so far this time that we want to make sure they could hear you. Otherwise, it'll just be you and I.
Should I translate? She said she's...
No, go ahead. Let her. Go ahead. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Just from, listening and watching the video and being here last time, what opened up for me was just, being more vulnerable in relationships, and just to piggyback on what you said, I've had that experience too, where I do really good in one-on-one, but then I meet the family, and then it's too intimidating, and then it's interpreted as being aloof or uninterested, and so that's my concern also too.
That's your challenge. Okay, great. And there was things that I was hearing throughout as I watched it and heard it a few times, and I was just looking at what everybody was sharing, and there was a comment that you made at one point that really stood out for me, and it was just like really quickly, and we're talking about women that are overbearing or overpowering, and I can't remember the exact words you said, but it really stood out for me, and I was like, we gotta talk about that a little bit more, and I'll bring it up more, but very interesting comment that I found very interesting, and so maybe an opportunity to address it or look further into what is that really about. But anyway, who's next?
It's just me left.
Who's next?
So I guess from the last time I was here, in between that time, somebody contacted me that had seen me on the show, one of our friends, a mutual friend of ours, and she asked me if I'd be interested in meeting somebody that had seen me on the show and thought I'd be perfect for her boss, who was an amazing person, and she said that she couldn't say enough good things about him, and so I said, well, I'm on the show, so I'm open, so yeah, I'll meet him. So, and I mean, nobody knows who this person is, and I'm sharing this for other people to know that these experiences are real and they're really tough. I agreed to meet this person. The person texted me and asked if we could meet, and I said sure, and then the person lived in Glendale, and then they asked me if I would go to Glendale, and I had just gotten off of working a long day, and I said, and I said, can you come to Pasadena? And they said, well, I guess I could. And this is a guy, and he's like, I guess I can. And I'm like,
did he text you that?
Yeah, it was text, and I said, okay. So then I named the place to meet, and they were very, like, they complained about the place that I had selected because there was no parking there. And I said, well, let's just hope for the best. And so when the person came in, I was completely not attracted to the person, but, you know, I was going to be a lady about it and just be nice and talk to him and see, you know, what he had to say. We sat at the bar for safety, which was great. I saved him a seat. I went there early so that I could, you know. Anyhow, so he came in and I was like, wow. So he was older and he was dressed very young, which I thought was like, wow. I mean, so there's things, these are the things that, you know, like when you're seeing if you have chemistry to see if you're on the same level. I mean, this could have been perfect for somebody else, but for me it wasn't, it didn't work. So he came in and then he sat down and he went on to talk about everything that he owned and everything he had and his fancy cars and he asked me if I cooked and I was like, and I'm a very good cook, but I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna divulge that I cook. And he's like, well, I hope you cook because I cook really, I mean, he goes, I hope you like, he's like, I like to cook, but I don't wash dishes. And I'm like, neither do I. I'm like, you have all that money, why do I have to wash the dishes? So it was just like, I just sat there and listened to, you know, all of the things that he had. And at the end, to summarize really quick, he was like, well, I said, I got front row parking, VIP parking. He goes, well, do you want to walk me to my car? And I was like, and he's like, well, I want you to see my car. I was like, he goes, I'll drive you back. So I walked him to his car to be polite, walked him to his car, and he had this beautiful, sexy AMG, very bright color. I don't want to say because it could be too specific.
Yeah.
And then he drove me to my car, and it's all, you know, like around, like in the parking lot to my car. So I was like, stop leading with everything you have. I mean, it doesn't matter how much money you have. If somebody's not interested in somebody for their money, you know, I mean, it's like, why would you lead with that? You want somebody to like you for you.
Well, why do you think that he would lead with that?
Because that's the only way he gets attention.
No, I want to hear her.
Maybe it's worked in the past. Maybe that's worked in the past for him, and maybe I don't think that a seasoned woman that's mature and older like is good. Like she usually will have her own stuff.
But if it's worked for him in the past, why do you think he uses that though?
Well, I mean, I'm sure like if you're like giggling. Oh my gosh, you guys are
I mentioned, you know, the reason why I'm asking that is because think about it. If he was secure in who he was, then it wouldn't matter. Those things would be bonus, and the last thing I want to be doing is leading by my things.
Exactly.
Or, you know, my status, etc. Because without that status or those things, who are you? Because at the end of the day, that's who I'm going to be with. So when someone leads by their things, their possessions or their status, then you got to question if they're confident or they're insecure. Now, sometimes they're just confident, cocky, arrogant, which is a whole other level of beware. Mm-hmm. But those are the kind of things to like look at, like what has people do certain things, because then you start learning more about what works and what doesn't work, and you start noticing that on their are you guys gonna drink? Online dating app. Okay. So every time we say online dating,
I'm gonna have to borrow two.
All right,
I'm gonna have to borrow one.
So last week, he needs a refill. So last time between them they started they decided that every time we say online dating, they're going to take a drink. So you could join us in the fun if you'd like. But anyway, I was like, I'm going to say it. But you start looking at the profiles, and then you can start noticing, like, is this is a red flag. Now, like, also, you got to read everything else, you know, because then you're going to categorize them immediately. And that doesn't work. You know, that doesn't work either, because sometimes we ruin our opportunity because right away we see one little thing and that's it. That's the end of it. So you got to know what are your negotiables, what are your non-negotiables. You know, what are the things you absolutely will not deal with, so that you're clear that you're not compromising it. And you know, earlier I had a conversation with with my hairstylist, and we were talking about the topic was about a book that she had read regarding how us women are always trying, because we want to be nice, we put ourselves in bad positions, and sometimes the positions are so bad that we're not safe. And so those are the kind of things to be aware as well as women, you know, that we're because we're being nice, we're putting ourselves in a position where we're not safe. So, you know, just like, luckily you kind of knew him through somebody else, but don't go to people's car.
No, I mean,
you know, things like that. You know, she already, and she met him. She already set the tone in a sense for him. But don't complain about the place if you could have chose it and then you didn't, you know, type of thing.
Right.
Those are the kind of little things that don't work. But anyway, I mean, we could keep going. But thank you for sharing that story, because it's a great opportunity. Because we're out there. I get random messages from people. I get messages from people like at 1 or 2 in the morning. So my apps are on all the time. I'm not on it all the time, but they're on all the time. And people will randomly message me that I don't know. So if I don't know you, don't be messaging me late. And that's, you know, I mean, like I'm saying this because, I mean, if you think about it, one is sometimes people actually message me because they're going through a tough time. So when they message, no, it's people that I don't know because I'm a coach. So they sometimes they feel like I need to talk to someone, and they'll reach out to me. But if they're not telling me that, I don't know if they want to date me or they want me to coach them. I don't know what their intention is. So messaging me late hours when I don't know you, like it's just very inappropriate. Don't do that to other people or myself, please.
Right.
It's because technology has removed the social filter. You know, there's no longer time and a place. Now it's just like, as long as my battery's charged, I can communicate with someone and I can leave a comment. So they think you're a 7-Eleven and you're always open. Yeah,
it's crazy, and I'm not. But I'm not. But I got a 1 in the morning message says I can't sleep from someone I don't know. You know, like someone messaged me, I'll say, oh, hi. You know, they'll message me eventually. I'll say, oh, hi. You know, I'm not going to be rude. But at the same time, then, hi, that's it. I'm not going to say anything else. I want to know what's your intention. You're going to follow up with something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But those are the kind of things with social media that get where we get lost, because people are just kind of throwing it out there. Let's see. And there's no real intention. And we gotta be intentional. If you want to meet someone, if you want to date someone, if you want to see them again, you want to be intentional. Anyway, I have some questions. I'll share with you guys. Go ahead and tell us about your and let's keep it brief, guys. I don't know what time. If you could give me like little updates, yeah, because I have no clue. Update. Oh, what opened up for you? What did you learn from your experience watching the show?
Oh, I already answered.
You already answered.
You're
the last one. You're the last one. That's right. Okay, so we had some questions last week. Thank you, Carmen, for updating us. And again, if you just joined us, you're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and friends, and I'm with my singles ready to mingle that are we're talking about dating and relationship challenges. And I know we have more comments and questions, and we'll do our best to address them. But we had some questions that people send us after the show. They wanted us to address. I want to make sure we start talking about those things.
All right.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the questions was. Let me see this. I'm gonna pick some of them because we're not gonna have time to. And you guys could. You don't all have to answer them, but you could decide who wants to answer. So when it's like 2 questions at once. So should you keep interest in someone hidden to not create competition with anyone else? And then the other part of that same question is, how should anyone handle being in competition with someone you both mutually like too?
I need clarification on that
so,
question.
So sometimes, for example, say you work at somewhere, you like someone that works there, but you don't want to tell. Well, there's 2 parts of it, right? You don't really want to tell someone because then it kind of makes them like, wait a minute, that person is good looking. Oh, you know what? You know, like it starts raising
you don't
the
want
interest.
to share
like,
it with some, like a
yeah, you don't want
coworker?
to share it because you're afraid. You think they might be interested for one, and then by you sharing it, then that ups the ante. Like it just kind of says, oh shoot, you know, like I better move on it. So, do you share it? Do you not share it? Should you keep it a secret? What do you guys think?
It's tough to say. Is it male? Is it female? Is it who? I mean, it's hard to say.
This is a male. This is a male question. This is a male, it works both ways.
Well, there are two
Yeah.
sides to it because I mean there are also like HR guidelines now. If you're in a,
So let's not assume it's work. Let's
you
not assume
can't-
it's work. Okay,
Okay,
let's
so
not, I gave you that example, but
Alright.
just randomly, we have a circle of friends. We all hang out. We have mutual friends, etc.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm interested in somebody, and I see that you kind of get along with that person, and now I
So it's the
don't know.
Chandler Monica dynamic from Friends. You know,
Yeah.
Joey knows.
Yes, when Joey knows. Yeah,
Yes,
when
exactly.
Joey
I
knows.
would
But
step back. I wouldn't.
Here's what I say. If you don't speak up, the other person's not gonna know, and it may seem like schoolyard rules, but if you don't make a claim, all bets are off, and if they step up, you're left with nothing because you didn't say anything, you didn't speak up, you didn't make it known. And actually, that happened to me not that long ago, where one friend, made a claim on me, and I had no clue. I wasn't even attracted to this person, but I was more attracted to her friend, and her friend was like, "Nope, girl code, sorry." And that was it. It was done.
Wow.
So, if there is that dynamic amongst friends, that code, or if not, if they, at least speak up about it, talk about it. It's uncomfortable. It's not fun, but at least you make it known.
If we cross that code, we lose friends. I've lost friends.
yeah, and the thing is,
Yeah, but would you rather lose a friend or lose somebody who you're interested in? It depends. It's one of those double-edged swords where you
It
gotta
is.
figure out. It's like, okay, is this person worth it in the end, or is it worth keeping my friend in the end?
I think that maybe the thing is, if it's your friend, if your friend is a real good, true friend,
Then they'll understand and
they will be supportive,
they'll be supportive.
And celebrate you and be happy for you, etc. They're not going to be jealous or etc. They're gonna step back and say, you know what, if it works out great, I'm happy for you.
Exactly.
I think that would be that. That's my opinion. But if it's not a friend, say it's not a friend, but you're in the same circle, you know each other, but it's not like you're close, like we have a code
Mhm.
kind of friend, then what do you guys think? I mean,
Go for it.
Well,
go for. I mean,
the way
for
I
sure.
see it
Go for
is
it.
establish something first, and if something comes from that, then follow up on it. I mean, don't keep it much of a secret either. But
I mean, if you're not that close, then if they're secretly going after her, or they're outright about it, it's happening.
Yeah.
dog eat dog world.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
happening. So if you speak up, it may deter them, or it may ignite them to try harder, which means you need to up your game. So
yeah, exactly. I think it's one of those you snooze, you lose. If you keep waiting and tiptoeing around the idea, then you know what? Someone's going to step up, whether it's that person that you're
Right.
concerned about or someone else. But if you keep tiptoeing around it, whether you're a woman, one is, I don't think that it's very attractive to be the aggressor, but you also have to give a man signs that you're interested, and you got to be mindful that you're not always flirting, because then nobody knows if you're interested or not, or everybody thinks you're interested. So those are the kind of things that happen, Those are the kind of things that happen. I had
Curse you, women.
I know a
Sorry,
personal
flirt.
trainer that we had this conversation
funny.
about, and then we
Not
realized
too much
that was the case. That she's flirting with it. She doesn't. Her personality is like that. That everybody's thinking she's interested in them, and that's not the case. But it's just being mindful of all that. Men, you just get to, take action. If we don't know unless you tell us. Sometimes men are tiptoeing around it. They kind of try, and then they kind of don't, and then you don't know, and then you know, and then you're like, I don't know if he's interested or he's not interested. I don't know if I'm in the friend zone or if I'm not in the friend zone. So you don't want to be in the friend zone too long, because it doesn't work, because then it's hard to get out of it's kind of hard to get out of the friend zone once
Yeah,
you're in the
It's
friend
there.
really
Once you're
bad.
there,
Yeah, you can't get
How
out.
to get out.
Carmen.
I want to go ahead and add that rather than being far more concerned about whether the guy's going to go after her or not, find out if she's even interested in you first, because then what's the point of the pissing contest for?
You're making assumptions,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's based on your own insecurity, or you think that other person's better qualified or whatever. You
Mhm.
think, yeah.
Mhm.
But it matters what she's interested in ultimately at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
at the end of the
yeah,
day.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you can't be mad at the person because she's not interested in you. She's interested in someone else.
Mhm.
Chemistry is chemistry. You can't get mad at
Yeah,
that.
you can. Yeah. Good. I love this question, right?
Yeah, that was good.
That's a
That
great
was
question.
good.
So,
More
all right, so
questions,
let's see if we have more questions. And this kind of speaks into the same thing, and it's, should you know someone as a friend first before you pursue a relationship with the person you're interested in romantically?
Yes. I think yes.
I think it's a whole, like, you gotta be mindful that you're not friend zoning yourself, or, you know, if you wait too long to declare your intention or your interest, I think that then it gets lost. You don't know where you stand, or what is it, or where do I want to go with it, or, you know, that kind of stuff. So I don't know, what do you guys think? It's the same.
If you don't like a person as a friend, like, why would you even want to pursue a relationship with them? Because you have to have some commonality and conversation and some kind of a foundation. Otherwise, then why? I have girlfriends. I don't need
another friend. Yeah, we don't need another friend. We have
a lot of
another
girlfriends.
Yeah. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about this one because I think this is kind of ties up into it. But the question was, how do people turn friends with benefits into relationships?
You demand it.
You demand it.
You just demand it. It's just like, hey, this is fun, but I want something more. And if the person doesn't respond, then that's a real red flag that you need to move on. You know, you have to demand what you want out of a relationship.
I like
Period.
that. Yeah, you got to demand it. Don't make assumptions. And I think when you're physically involved, you can easily get clouded as to what it is or what it's not. And when you're not clear if it's just a friend with benefit, if it's not clear, then it could get really messy.
Yeah.
And right, it could get really messy. And then the other thing is that if you are a friend with benefit and you're interested, like you said, you gotta be very clear, demand it. And if it's not reciprocated, then you gotta make that choice. Am I going to keep entertaining this and hope that they'll change their mind, you know, which is what people do, and then you're dragging it on, and now it becomes
But
like
how long would you want to be friends with benefits before you made it clear of what you wanted?
It's like hoping for rain in California. It's not going to rain, you know, so you have to make it happen yourself.
So your question is?
My question is, how long would you wait? 3 months, 4 months before you made it clear?
It's
what you
not so
want?
much a timeline. It's how you feel. Like, because I've dated women that had no interest in pursuing anything serious with me. They had it with other people, but not with me. So no matter how long I gave them to change their mind, they just weren't. It wasn't.
Just wasn't there.
It just wasn't there for them. As much as I wanted it, it just wasn't there for them.
That makes sense. Because I think sometimes there's a physical chemistry, but there's no emotional connection. There's no intellectual connection. There's you can't have a real conversation. I mean, there's so many different things that create an actual healthy relationship. And one of the things is the five love languages, we'll discuss in a bit. But the other, let me see. Another question, I didn't write it down because it was a conversation I had with someone, and this is one of the common things that happen both to men and women, I think, is that you'll meet somebody, whether it's online or it's in person or at a event, etc. And then you go out on a date with this person. You know, this particular person went out on a date twice with somebody. They clicked, and they have like a meetup thing, because I'm trying to keep it, you know, confidential, so I'm trying not to say too much without giving the person away. But so they'll be like, hey, let's meet there. Oh, let's meet. He'll be like, let's meet there. So doesn't she? Let's meet there. Let's meet there. But you know, and they've met there. They hang out, and you know, they've had a kiss. But then he doesn't, you know, like, then she won't hear from him for 2 weeks. And then he'll come out of nowhere, you know, he'll come back again. Like, so now this happens very frequently. I hear this all the time, but I want to hear, let's start with a man's perspective. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Like,
What's the question?
Okay, so the question is, her question is, so it's like, so her concern is like, what's the problem? Is he interested in me? Is he not interested in me? You know, and you know, there's 2 things that came up for me. Either he's in a relationship or he's not interested in you, or both. Or, you know, those are the common experiences I've seen with other people, and even that I've had myself. So what are your guys' perspective?
Isn't there an underlying fear that if you're the woman, you think you're the side chick because he only comes around like every 13 days. You know, it's like a boomerang effect. You know, and what is it that brings them around? You know, and analyzing what it is that brings him around and keeps him there for more than 4 hours, there's your answer. And then he disappears for 13 days and he comes back for another 3 hours. So you could be a side chick.
I'm going to echo it in that, you know, because I've done it. I've done it where I'm like interested enough to go out with you, interested enough to talk to you every couple of weeks or whatever, but not interested enough to like grab onto you and hold on to you. So you might be plan B, plan C, I don't know, but you're not plan A. That's just the truth.
Well, I appreciate you being that
real.
No, because we got to be real about that. Because look, let's be honest. Us women are always trying to. Oh my gosh, you know, he did this or he did that, and we'll hold on for like a whole month about what he did, and we haven't like really seen him, heard from him, then or he hasn't set a date. Like that's what we do, you know. And the more, of course, the more self-aware we are, the more, you know, we're focused on what, you know, our things that really matter to us. The less we're going to put time and energy into that thought. But it's common. It's common. So, you know, your perspective is really important. But, like, when it comes down to it, like, be honest. You know, you got to be honest with we got to be honest with ourselves.
One of the best ways to prevent something like this from happening for both men and women is you have to keep communication open. Or, like, on the second date, you have to establish, hey, I'm busy during the day. And sometimes if I text you, just text me back. You know, let me know how you're doing. Or, you know, if I can leave a voicemail on your phone. And for most men, it's like, don't email me because I get a lot of emails and I'm going to miss it. You know, and that's probably the worst thing you can do is email him.
People still email?
Yeah, I know. I think emailing for dating is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
But texting, and that's one thing I did mention, and this is the reality, is like, we live in a world where we have technology in our fingertips. So you don't tell me that none of you have ever not texted in the restroom or watched your Facebook or blah, blah, blah. We all do. So if we're interested, we will text, we will call, we will respond. Even if it's a quick, like, hello, been busy, but say hi, thinking of you.
Yeah,
have a wonderful day.
That's quality right
I
there.
want to elaborate on what you just said, is that interest. You already know if they're interested in you or not. The question and what's being proposed, what I'm hearing is, can you please tell me what I really want to hear versus what it really is? And the fact of the matter is, when a guy is that into you, he will move heaven and earth just to be with you. That's just the way it goes. Like you shared it earlier, he would have driven out to you, no problem. He would have picked the restaurant, not a problem. He would foot the bill and everything, and had a plan and just execute it. That's it. Why? Because they're just that into you. If they're not that into you, it's like the book. They're just not that into you.
That's a great, and if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, that's a really great insight on that. I really think it's a really good insight because, like you said, you move mountains. We'll move mountains.
You blow up mountains.
Yeah.
You'll blow up mountains.
Blow up
Exactly. So, I hope you guys are all listening and that you're sharing. And if you're joining us, you're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. And we do have, I'm going to look at the comments and questions. And as you saw, we're already running out of time. But like time goes by so fast. Overtime. So let's see. I can't see all the comments. Unfortunately, they kind of already went through my feed. But let's see. Audrey says, my best advice is just be yourself and don't look for love. Stay authentic. And so everybody's different about that, you know. It's that you got to be intentional. If you're like, you're so serious about that, then you got to do the things that are going to put you out there and put you in a position to be found or to find, right? Let's see. Laura Morris says, can't hear nothing. Oh, I hope you could hear us now. So just make sure you guys, let's all try to keep our voice up. I know my voice is like feeling harsh. Yeah. Okay, and let's see. Hi, Valerie. Valerie Thurman. Chavez Marie says, take a shot of brandy, Patty. Okay. They know you. Let's see. Hi, Janet. Janet Jung, you, one of my good friends. Maria Hernandez says, let's see. Oh, people are talking about drinking. Okay, it's not about drinking tonight, but we're definitely drinking. Laura Maru says, I agree, be yourself at all times, be happy. Hello, Isatel, Isabel. Marie Chavez says, let's see, I'm just checking if there's messages, guys. So if you did post a comment, a question, or a comment that we want to definitely discuss, I'm going to pass you up for right now, but we'll definitely follow up on our comments later. Audrey says, I met my husband at a sushi bar. He looked like shit, but he had the best personality, okay?
She was my best.
I love it. Thank you for being so blunt about it.
Of being authentic right there.
No, but I think his personality, I mean,
It matters a lot.
I remember
It
going on
matters
a
lot.
date. I remember meeting, like, it was an online a person I met online. I remember going to meet him at a coffee shop. And good-looking person, like his profile was good-looking. His profile looked good. Good-looking in person. But the moment he started talking, one of the things he did was talk really bad about his family. Like, so bad that it was so unattractive. And I just thought, what is he going to think of mine? If he's so judgmental and hard about his family and lacked humility, then there's no way that would work for me. So he became very unattractive really fast. Yeah. So personality, at the end of the day, the personality is going to beat looks.
Yeah, that's what
Definitely.
Patty said last show. Like, the guys that always talk about their ex, like on the first date.
Oh.
It's like that's absolutely the
God.
worst thing you
That's
can say,
such a turn
fellas.
off. That's
Yeah.
a deal breaker. First
And
day talking about exes.
We have a prop.
Oh, you have a prop. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jordan Magdalena brought a prop. That's
We brought up piñata. So the Valentine's Day is coming up. You have to destroy all your bad past experiences. You can learn from them, but don't bring them up on the first date. So on Valentine's Day, go and wreck a piñata of your bad experiences.
Let it go. Let it go.
go.
New moment, new opportunity.
Exactly.
And I was. Have you guys ever seen the movie Field of Dreams? So it's
Yeah.
it's
The
about
guys don't
baseball,
like
but it's really about vision and a dream and following your dream and in there there's a message. It said that he keeps hearing, if you will build it, they will come. And so a lot of people focus on finding that person, but their foundation as a person is just so off balance that it attracts a lot of crap, like a lot of things that you don't want. So you want to make sure that you're building it, meaning who you are, what you want, what's important to you, and focus on that. And if you build it, that person that is meant for you, that you're worthy of, that has all the qualities that are important to you, will show up. But if you're not there, you're going to get a lot of questionable, compromising, you name it, of people, and that goes for anybody. So I'll make sure that you're working on you. Develop yourself as a human being, your emotional intelligence before anything else, because you can be a book educated as much as you want, but if you lack emotional intelligence, your relationships are always going to be challenged. All right, so let's see. Okay, so there's so many comments. I'm gonna, as much as I want to go through them. I'm looking for more questions. Oh, Mimi saying 1 a.m. They ought to make some do not disturb features. I know, no kidding. Either that or have to turn it off. Hey Marissa, let's see. There's hello Leticia. Never date anyone at work. My dad had the saying is don't shit where you eat. Mm-hmm. And those are really important things, because you gotta consider, okay, when you do that you're putting yourself in a very compromising position, because if it doesn't work, right, now you gotta deal with this person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what happened to me. I dated somebody that I worked with. I married her. But after a while, it didn't work out. But it's one of those things. Sometimes you want to take that risk, and sometimes you don't. So I have learned my lesson, though. I haven't done it again.
Well, the thing, there's a saying, great rewards come with great risk.
Yes.
So sometimes we got to know, is this a risk that I'm willing to take? And if it doesn't work, take responsibility with what comes with it, because you made that choice. So, those are things to think about. So one of the things we talked about, we've had a brief, I sent you guys all the 5 love languages quiz.
Yeah.
And I want to do a really quick brief because I think it's important that we really, sometimes we don't realize why we're not connecting with people or why our relationship isn't working with our sibling, with our boyfriend. Someone, we want to date someone, but something's not clicking, or we're having trouble in the relationship. If you're in a boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, you don't know why. Sometimes it's because you're not understanding each other's love language. So I had everybody do the quiz, and I wanted everybody to share briefly what is their love language and kind of describe what that means to them. So let's make it brief, and then we're gonna have to call it a night, guys. It's like almost that time.
Flew by.
Yes, it went really quick. I
Stay
think we're gonna
tuned
have
for
to
part
have
3.
I know.
A 2-hour show.
All right. So who wants to go first? What is your top 2 primary love languages?
Okay, I'll go. My top one is acts of service, and my second is physical touch.
All right.
So, acts of service, I love doing things for people, and especially when I care about them. I care about people in general, so I just like doing things for them. Some kind gesture, and it's very fulfilling. The challenge I've had with it is when somebody wants to reciprocate or show, because it's actually the most difficult love language to satisfy. Because in order to satisfy it, they would have to allow me to do my thing, and versus them just giving and giving. So it's a little twisted. It's one of the harder ones to do. And then physical touch. Maybe that's why I ended up as a massage therapist. I don't know. At one point, and so it's definitely. Yeah, I am the world's greatest hugger according to Gigi. So,
Gigi Grant, yeah.
And yeah, it's just that closeness, that bond, that sense of security may stem from previous issues in the past. I don't know. It's been interesting and revealing, and it's still a process.
Great.
I'm pretty much the same as George over here. We pretty much got the same thing down. I love appreciating people and showing my appreciation, and I do it in different ways. I bring snacks or whatever, but it's nice to give, but it's nice to receive too. And physical touch, like you said, I think that's the best way to know chemistry is by touch. You have to do certain gestures or certain things or look at what body language too, and how ladies react to certain things, and that's what's going to put you from friend zone to something else. So that it's one of those things that you just gotta look for and just try to take notes and keep up with it. So I'm really trying to stay away from friend zones now. I really am.
And the thing is that one of the things that you shared before with me, we had like a pre-interview, and you're like the nice guy.
I am the nice
You're
guy,
not,
but
so,
I was brought up that way, and I treat everybody the way I want to be treated.
Mm-hmm. So like for people that are out there that are the nice guy, you also get to be in a sense of nice aggressiveness, because if you're not in a sense somewhat aggressive, then we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really know where you stand.
Yeah, and then where's that point where it's like, where if it's too aggressive, where it gets to be the pervy aggressive, it's like there's got to be that little.
No.
And that's really about being like you said, like if women, this is what women do, men do it too, but when women are interested in you, generally they tend to like you. They'll like, oh my gosh, or and if you do touch them, either they're gonna kind of like do this, or they're gonna be okay with it, and like I know people.
No, but mine was also physical touch and quality of time. But physical touch, if you lean into someone and they lean into you, that is an affirmation of affection, and it's an affirmation. Hey, guess what? You're not in the friend zone, winner, right? But if they recoil from your touch, then it's also like, okay, then maybe we're not going to pursue this.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the case, because sometimes it could feel like, oh, too soon.
Well,
or
but
you know what I mean?
it all
Like,
depends.
so-
It all depends, and I'm a nice guy too. But the way I figured out how to show up is just be the dominant nice guy. Like, I'm not only am I the nice guy, but also I'm the alpha male in this situation, and I'm also nice because it takes a lot of energy to not be nice. You know, so that's how you got to be, and you have to be affirmative. You have to be aggressive and dominant, and remain the nice guy. And that's how you sort of dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah, definitely. And so, like, for you guys now, one thing is that you how you express it, and another thing is how you like to receive it. Now, the same way you express it, is it the same way you like to receive it?
That's why I said mine is the most difficult, because all the other four, from what I've studied, they receive it the same way they express it. How do you express doing something for somebody when that's the way you receive it? Like, I get pleasure out of doing something for you. You cannot do it for me. So people have a difficult time, and I have a very difficult time receiving from someone when they want to do things for me.
So do you have a difficult time because you feel a sense of self-worth, or you feel embarrassed, or do you feel, I mean, what makes it difficult to receive?
I mean, yeah, there was a good while of self-worth. Just automatic thought patterns just embedded in me that I consciously need to face when it comes up. Like when somebody's doing something for me, it's like, okay, pause, allow them. And so it's not second nature to me yet. So I'm still working on it.
Good. And when we're aware, then we could make changes, and then we could notice what's working, what's not working, and keep building, right? Building on that. We're always in the, I mean, we want to be in the space where we're always learning from our experiences and checking in with ourselves so that we could create the things that we want in our life, relationships, careers, etc. What about you guys? What are your how do you like to receive it? Because I think that's where there's the breakdowns in relationships, is that sometimes we like to express it a certain way, but our partner likes to share it with us in a different way, and then we get mad because say like a parent, and I'll talk about parents. Some parents will be like, they don't have time to spend with you, but they'll buy you anything you need, anything you want, and they're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to buy them this, I'm going to buy them a car, I'm going to buy them, and then the kid will grow up and say, oh, my dad just bought his love with money, he just bought my love with things, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But the dad, that's the way he knew how to express his love. That's the way he knew, gifts, giving gifts was the way he expressed his love. But he was judged and made wrong because that's the way he expressed it. So we do that in relationships as well. We make people wrong, but now we could do things like the 5 love languages quiz. We could understand each other's language and work to meet in the middle in the languages. Does that make sense?
Sometimes a small gesture just as a thank you works really well. Just acknowledgement.
Yeah, acknowledging that I like that or thank you. It's the 2 most powerful things you can say in a relationship, because it lets the other person know that, hey, it's working. Keep doing it.
Yeah, and you definitely, and that's a way to make sure that they get it, that by acknowledging it, thanking them, remind, oh, when you did that, it's, it still stood in my, I still think about it, or I was remembering when you gave me this, or when you did that for me, or whatever. And so I'm also quality time and physical touch. So for me, like my marriage, like he was not a physical touch person. And talk about when you're not aware, talk about feeling rejected, and that was tough for me. And so it became where I became very unattached to touching or being touched. It became very uncomfortable when people would try to hug me or stuff like that. And until I did self-development and transformational work, then I changed. I went back to what was my natural state of being, and that is being loving, being affectionate, being giving, being. For me, you want to make me happy, quality time. You could give me everything, but your time is irreplaceable. And if you're gonna make it for me, I'm gonna appreciate it big time. So thank you guys for making time to be on my show tonight, and thank you all for being on the show tonight. We're gonna give you a quick brief. You guys go ahead and share really quickly what was your love language and how do you like to receive it. How do you like to express it and receive it?
Really quickly for me, mine was gifts. Sorry, prezzies. But I like presents.
Don't make yourself wrong for it. That's
I
how
mean,
you'd
it
like
is.
to
I
be.
like presents. I like to receive gifts. And then my second was acts of service, and that's what I like. But then again, like I realized that in my past relationship, I love gifts, so I would give gifts. That's how I showed love. And for me, I thought that person would know that meant, that's how much, and in acts of service as well. And it wasn't that their love language. So for me, that's what I learned through this. And I would definitely make whoever that I was dating in the future say, hey, why don't you take this test real quick?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a great test.
What if they don't want
No,
to?
I've worked with couples.
What if they don't want to?
Yeah, no, I've worked with
Bye,
couples,
Felicia.
and doing this test alone doing this test alone and doing some additional work with them has allowed them to transform their relationship to one that's loving and respectful, where they appreciate each other. And not only that, the thing is that when you're in a relationship and when you're dating and you get all this stuff, squared away, where you're aware of each other's wants and needs and what's important to you, then you could become a power couple. Like there's the possibilities are endless. Otherwise, you get caught up in all those minor BS that doesn't work, and all because we're not understanding each other. It doesn't mean we don't care about each other. It just means that we're not communicating what we want and what we need, and we're not aware of our wants and needs. So this test is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right.
the viewers should actually look into this test. Too.
Definitely.
Yes, and
Highly
actually,
recommend it.
yeah, and I can send you the PDF. I send it to you guys, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really simple, and you can look it up
Just
online.
message her and
The
she'll
5
give it to you
language
guys.
love languages.
Not at 1 a.m.
Yes. And not at 1 a.m. please.
Not at 1 a.m.
Yeah, just
Hey,
post it.
Tricia,
Post
what
it
you
and
got?
pin it.
Yeah.
Post it and print it.
I can post it. So yeah, I'll post it and print it. So
So really, I'm sorry, Mike, please. Really quick for me, the first one is physical touch. I like to be cuddly, and I like to give, and I like to receive touching. And I also like receiving gifts. That's how I like to give, just like what you said. I like to give gifts, and I like to receive gifts. I'm not talking about extravagant gifts, but just something that shows that, oh, hey, I was thinking about you.
Right.
This reminded me of you. This is so you, and I had to get it for you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and I think that sometimes that it's misinterpreted as being materialistic, So that's
Right.
those are two different distinctions.
Yeah.
So make sure that you don't get those crossed, because then you're judging someone and you're categorizing them in a way that is not true.
Right.
Now, if you're leading with your things and a person's attracted to your things, well, know that you led with your things. So you're going to attract people that are interested in things and not in who you truly are. So keep that in mind. And I just want to say real quickly what those 5 love languages are, and then we're going to go ahead and say our goodbyes. It's already we're a little bit over overtime. But thank you all for watching. Again, you're watching Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. My apologies that we didn't get to answer everybody's comments or questions, but we will definitely review them after. And we'll see if we invite everybody over again. Maybe we could do this every so often. It'll be fun to see where everybody's at, what you're doing.
I'm down for a
Maybe
monkey.
one day we'll come back and some of you won't be still single,
Where are
etc. Right? We never know what the
Indeed.
destiny brings.
Reunion show.
But anyway, those 5 love languages are words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. And you can look that up online. It's a great book, and it's very insightful. And if you definitely want to check it out. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It'll definitely transform your life and your relationships just with something this simple. Now, of course, I'm a coach. I interpret it, and I go deeper into what you do, your languages and how it works for you, what's working, what's not working, and how you have been functioning in your life based on these things, knowingly and not knowingly. But, that's a whole other conversation. You can always reach out to me for a consultation or any quick tips or advice. I'm always open to that. But anyway, I want to thank our sponsor for today, which is Jade's Fashion in the city of Alhambra / Pasadena, South Pasadena. Thank you to our sponsor. If you're interested in sponsorship opportunities, please reach out to me directly. But I just definitely want to say they're having a boutique, a Jade's Fashion boutique sale on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, February 7th, 8th, and 9th, which is this weekend, 11 to 7 p.m. And it's a tamale. They're gonna have food, and there's gonna be great discounts. So I know you could kind of see some of the stuff in the background. They have gorgeous clothing. gorgeous clothing for women, accessories for women. If you want something that's unique that you're not gonna find in all the malls, that the common stuff, you definitely want to check it out. Guys, it's a great opportunity to get a really great Valentine gift for your Valentine for next week, or any other day, just because for those women that like to receive gifts as their love language, this is a great place. But anyway, Jay's is going to have a discount of from 15% to 40% off, so you definitely want to come and join. And the sale code is sunshine. So go ahead and check it out. What?
Nothing. We're laughing because we like gifts.
Oh, they like
Yeah,
gifts. So
I was
if you
pointing
want
at
to send
them.
them gifts, you can purchase it and put it on hold here with Marianne.
She has layaway here.
With Marianne, and she will forward it to them. Oh my girls, you were too much.
Yeah, ladies, call out your sizes.
Thank you. All right, so thank you all for
Register.
watching. Ladies, everybody, any last words, because we gotta go. It's like 9:05. Thank you all for watching. If you just joined us or part of the way, make sure you go back from the beginning and go to our previous show, part 1. There's a lot more information there as well. And I'm gonna talk to my guest here. Maybe we'll have them back again, in the near future, or sometime maybe in the spring. Kind of a follow-up, see where you're all at. What have you learned? What have you applied? Have the love languages work for you, etc.
Tonight we're gonna break the piñata.
And let go. Anyway, last words, you guys. Last words.
The 5 love languages quiz. Just like you said, it's very important. I think it's a really good thing to be able to communicate and know how the other person thinks and what they want to make them happy, and vice versa.
I concur. It's been a long time in coming. I've been told to read the book years ago, and terca, I wouldn't. And had I read that book, I would have been able to maybe speak the language of my partner. And so now, going forward, that's definitely something I'm going to incorporate in the future.
I'll say this, and this is something that I reflect on often as far as personal growth. If you don't go within, you'll go without. So, as Sandylu has pointed out, self-development, personal growth, go deep within. That way you resolve whatever needs to be resolved, so you don't go without.
Very well said.
Good evening, everyone. Just make sure you show up and that you're honest with the person you're with.
And don't always judge looks. Look beyond that and just get to know them a lot better than from first point of view. That's it.
Give people an opportunity. Okay, so thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to watch it from the beginning if you didn't catch us from the beginning, and watch it again. Just as an opportunity to see what you could learn from everybody sharing everybody's perspective. For all of you that joined, and commented, and if you had any questions, my apologies, we didn't get to all of them. We wanted to make sure we gave you a lot of great insight, information, etc. But we will go ahead and check them and follow up with you later. But remember to share. Next week, I have a wonderful, very, very talented guest. His name is Mario Lopez, and he's an artist, and he's a tattoo artist, and he does murals, paintings. I mean, super talented. He's also did a painting for Mario Lopez, the other Mario Lopez, which I'll be sharing the new post for next week's show. But he actually met him and gave him the painting, as well as what's that actor? I can't remember his name. But anyway, he's met a lot of famous artists and done paintings of them. Actually, has been able to share them. But he's going to be with me next week, so make sure you join next week on Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Tuesday evenings. Next week, my guest Mario Lopez. Make sure you join us, and we're on every Tuesday evening. And just so you know, save the date. April 27th will be the 1-year anniversary of Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends. And the go and plan is to do a show with live guest audience. So save the date if you want to join us. But anyway, have a wonderful evening. If you're interested in sponsorship opportunity for Transform Your Life with Sandylu and Friends, message me directly, and we'll talk. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, everybody. Remember that you matter, what you want matters, and you're worthy of having the life of your dreams, the relationship of your dreams, the career of your dreams. Don't settle for a default life. Don't settle, and keep developing yourself as a human being. That's the most important thing, and everything else will come. If you build it, they, etc. will come. Everything that you want. So have a wonderful evening. Remember that you have the power to choose how you want to live your life from moment to moment. You do have a choice. Good evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Hold your breath.
Finish button.
It's not working.
Finish button.
Bye.